The strong get stronger. Nvidia busting out to a new all-time high. AMD definitely not following the Oracle pattern after that gap up. All-time highs in that. China restricting minerals. Good for the mineral stocks. Recover that. We have Pepsi earnings. Okay, we'll cover those too. Delta flying high, but giving back some of those gains. It's Thursday. It's Crypto Corner on PreMarket Prep, and we'll bring in our old buddy Jason Shubnell to talk about the crypto market. Folks, it's Thursday. We got another rally on our hands. Let's get it started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
All right, the battle for 6,800 rages on here. We're right there. We're down just a few ticks. Strong close yesterday. We'll see if the bulls can hold that level. The buck still creeping higher, up just fractionally, 98.69. TLT up slightly, 89.40. USO trying to get away from that bottom of the trading range, but giving back 17 cents today, 73.36. GLD down 47 cents. Yes, that's right, 371.83. SLV down fractionally, and Bitcoin in the red by $650. We'll bring in Triple D and Triple D. These chips, they get the news, they get the analyst ratings. They got it all going for them now.
They do. I mean, AMD, and we can just bring up the chart. Let's go right into chart analysis here this morning. This market is being driven now by AMD and Nvidia here. AMD commentary yesterday from the one and only JP Morgan talking about AMD. And this was rumored around. I don't know if I had confirmation of this, but somebody apparently in JP Morgan was talking about AMD as potentially eventually having $1 trillion market cap. I was talking about having $1 trillion market cap a couple days ago with my short. But is Jamie Dimon in the chat? Let's go look. I think he is. I think he actually played. We thought it was incognito, but I actually think it's really him. Jamie Dimon's in her chat. They're taking our material now. Now, I don't have confirmation. That wasn't official here, but that was what was flying around a little bit on social media, is that JP Morgan talking about AMD with $1 trillion market valuation. That's a long ways to go. So for it to get $1 trillion valuation, the stock needs to go to almost $800 a share. That's a long ways. But, I mean, all-time highs, the party is happening here. The reason I said it the other day, the reason I said the possibility is there, is because you look at Nvidia at 4.5 trillion, and you think, well, if it can go to 4.5 trillion, and AMD can keep continuing to peck away at them, it's not a real possibility that this could be the number 2 player and take a good chunk of the market share as well. Now, that's a long ways to go. We're talking about a company that has less than a $300 billion market cap, although it's probably getting higher than that now. We should go do an update. Let's do an update on AMD, because the market cap, when last time I looked, was about 240. It is, hang on a second, bear with me here. We're going to get that market cap here. Updated as of yesterday, so this wouldn't include today's. Man, my system here, this one here is not very good. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it needs an update. I don't know. I can't get it.
It's higher.
I gotta go to a different site. Do you have it in front of you? Market caps don't matter anyways. But anyways, last time I looked, it was like 280 billion compared to 4.5 trillion. So I don't know if we're 300 billion yet with the recent move up here, but it's been an incredible move here for AMD. Joel, where is the resistance? 382. It's 382 now?
What does that mean?
It's 382 because it was 280 last week when it was 160. Now
what's resistance, Dennis? What is that? What is resistance?
No,
is there resistance?
There's no such thing.
They were asking about this, when this was moving yesterday, and they're like, is it a buy? And I don't know where it was, like 230, 239. And I'm like, well, it's not a sell. It's definitely not a sell. And if you have an appetite for buying these and trying to focus on the pre-market high, which we could easily see today, that comes in at 244. So, yeah, we're up $2.50, but you've been as high as 244 even. Nice round number there. So let's just keep an eye on that. If the rally continues, top of yesterday's range, if you're praying for a gap fill, right near the high, 235.87, and Nvidia moving with it too.
Nvidia's new highs here again this morning as well. So Nvidia moving up, and headlines continue to drive. Here, Cantor Fitzgerald raising their price target on Nvidia to $300 a share. Yes, not 200, 300 on AI infrastructure growth. I don't know what the market cap of that would be at 300, but 192. I guess he got another 30%. What are they talking about? $6 trillion company? Holy macro. Remember we had our first $1 trillion company? That felt like just a couple of years ago, wasn't it? We were talking about our first $1 trillion company. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago, but first $1 trillion company. Was it Apple? Who was the first to a trill?
I think so.
I think it was Apple. And that was only what? It's probably only like 10 years ago. Now we're talking about a $6 trillion company, potentially $6 trillion. If they go more, almost 7, actually, if that $300 price target comes to fruition. But stock, I said $200 this year. I said it recently here. I said it's broken out now. The breakout is real. I mean, technically speaking, it all is resistance at 185, went up to 190, retested at 183, 184 a couple days ago, and now resolving to the upside. It feels like it wants 200. It just feels like it's the number. It feels like that's what it wants.
August 2nd of 2018, Apple was the first public company to reach $1 trillion valuation. So
what was it?
Apple?
No. What year?
2018.
7 years ago, we had our first $1 trillion company, and while we're talking about 5, this is why we're bubblicious here. The amount of money, the amount of wealth that has just been created from thin air here in the last 7 years is incredible. So you got all these $1 trillion companies, now $3 trillion companies. In the case of Nvidia, it's $4.5 trillion. I wonder what the market cap of Nvidia was in 2017. Probably like 100 bill. Wasn't on the radar like this. Wasn't even close. Crazy moves, man. 2018, the first $1 trillion company. And now we talk about the first $1 zillion company. What is after $1 trillion? Does anybody know? It goes million, billion, trillion,
Zillion?
Zillion.
Is it zillion?
Is it?
Yeah.
Trillion. Or is it zillion or is it quadrillion? They're saying.
No, here you go. It goes trillion, next is trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. Yeah.
Sextillion.
4, 5.
Sextillion. When we get to sextillions, we know we get a real bubble there. The first sextillion. That's crazy. Unbelievable. Quadrillion. Wow.
What if Dennis, what if
quadrillion company? Will that ever happen?
That would be cool. Dennis, what if I told you that Nvidia's market cap around the same time that Apple hit $1 trillion was under 100 billion? What would you say?
Wow. I would say you're correct. I mean, the chips were just the chips, and it just wasn't on the radar. What was Intel's market cap back then? That'd be a good question. Intel would have been worth a lot more than Nvidia. Would have been worth like probably a few $100 billion.
I found a cool little website, macrotrends.net. They have a little chart that you can search around. Looks like about 200 bill Intel.
Okay, 200 bill. So Intel was worth about twice as much as Nvidia back in 2018, and then obviously Nvidia figured it all out, and Intel figured out nothing. But now Intel's figured out that let's just kiss up to the U.S. government, and our stock will go higher. They're into the non-innovative, just kissing. You know, like that's what they do now. They kiss, and then their stock goes up. So it's not a bad way. Trump likes that. So kiss up to Trump, and your stock will go up.
Sextrillion, septrillion, octillion, non-million, and decillion.
We aren't getting to no I'm saying I'm short the decillions.
Really?
No,
I'm short the
decillions. You're gonna lose
decillions.
all your money.
Yeah, I'm gonna short the decillions. Yeah, writing the decillion calls all day long. Writing them to you, Joel. I'll write them to you for 50 cents. The decillions.
192.49. That's what you just hit. you're still bid here at this elevated level. 192.26 is your last print, and they are throwing some stock around here, folks. This thing is trading like water out there. So right now, trading up at the highs of the pre-market session, 192.41.
Gap partners with Google Cloud for AI-powered retail transformation. Gap's trying it, Brent. They're listening to us. They tried, but nobody believes it.
we like to joke often, like, where's the AI in whatever, like, non-exciting industry?
Yeah.
Where's the AI in grocery? Where's the AI in eyeglasses? Where's the AI in retail?
Yeah,
well, it's there. Gap's using retail powered by Google AI.
Google AI to partner the Gap. They look at this and they look at their stock, and the media, social media is like, our stock's in the gutter. What can we do? We partner with Google Cloud for an AI-powered retail transformation. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
I got to dig into this. The collaboration will apply AI technology to Gap's brands, including Old Navy, Gap, Banana Republic, and Athleta. Partnership provides Gap with access to Google Cloud technologies. They have access to Google Cloud. Way to go, Gap. You got access to Google Cloud. Put that out in that PR, buddy. We got access to Google Cloud.
We need 20 cents on our stock.
We're going. Yeah.
We're going. We're up 24 cents.
Access to Google Cloud. There's your digging into the details here. Way to go, Gap.
We were talking about this yesterday in the SCN room, Dennis, and it's like these companies that are trying to do these things, like these AI things, they're trying to get the buzzwords in the headlines. If they're just not an in-favor company, the stocks don't really react. The other side of that is if there is a company, I guess that's it. If there's a company that is a little trendy, is a little bit of a retail darling, has a little bit of momentum, and they announce one of these like AI things, fluffy, buzzwordy, the stocks go crazy. So it's like the market really like showing its hand on its sentiment about these names anyways when they try these, buzzword AI things or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. We're in the fluff market where companies even like the Gap are trying to put out press releases here. And this is nothing more than a fluffy press release. The press release designed to try to get their stock to go higher. I mean, there's nothing here. I just dug into it. This is like, doesn't look like really anything here. So we have access to Google Cloud now. Yippee-doo-dah-day! All right, moving on from the Gap. I did not have the Gap.
Someone just put in the chat here. They got announced that it's something with Bitcoin.
They're going to turn into a crypto holding company?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. What are the words? What are the 3 words that the AI bots are looking for? They're looking for anything crypto. They're looking for AI. And then
the one yesterday was tokenization.
Yeah,
you could do like stable coin, right? That's probably a good one.
Gap would have been better to go that way, like accepting, like we're going to tokenize our customers and allow Bitcoin transactions or something like that. Yeah,
you're hired, Dennis.
Yeah, sorry,
Gap. If you're out there listening, hire this guy for your media relations.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was kind of fun. Sorry, Gap, for kind of trashing you, but you kind of deserved it. Back to our agenda. Back to the regular scheduled program. China. Tightening down its rare earth supply. That is good news when you hear tightening. I think about, like, go back to your economics 101. Supply and demand. Supply going down, good for price. Supply going down, good for price. That is good. MP Materials up 4% on this news. USAR up 6.96%. TMC up 6.9%. Brentster, you've expanded this rare earth list. You've got a whole pile of these things now you're tracking. There are stocks that aren't even that rare earthy on this list now.
Sure. Yeah. And like what's happening is like the rare earth names and like the lithium names, which were separate recently, are kind of getting clumped in together, at least this morning. So in addition to the ones that you mentioned, Dennis, we got the TMQ, of course. Yeah. We got the CRML. That's the critical metals one.
Yeah.
You mentioned the USAR. You mentioned the TMC. And then you have your like ABATs of the world. You have your METCs of the world. You have getting into some of your lithium names, your SGMLs of the world. You could do an ALB, of course, an LAR. There's
like
a
the
couple
lithium
more,
now. They're
but
hot for lithium. The lithium names are hot now too.
NB is a good one that the chat is
NB,
good
NB,
one
NB,
for
write
price
that one
action.
down. I'm writing that onto the list, the NB one. I don't think I had that one. It's a huge list that continues to grow. I don't have enough room on my piece of paper. I have to expand the piece of paper. Oh no, I have NB. NB is on there. I have NB. It's the third time I wrote NB. I start with
Poor
MP and
NB.
USAR, and then it expanded to UAMY, and then it's got TMC, and then it's got METC, and then it's got SBSW, which I don't even know. That one's not moving. Maybe we got to remove that one from the list because it's not moving. REMX is on my list here. It's moving. And then I have NB, and then I got another stock, and then I have NB, and then I got another stock, and then I have NB for the third time here now. I want to really make sure I got NB on that list. So, yeah, it's important. NB. There's a good pun for you older schools. You remember that? Shorthand, NB, Joel?
What's that?
Oh my God, nobody knows. I went beyond Joel's 82 years of life here. I went beyond it. Joel, you're
What
on
does it
mute
mean?
before you say anything. You don't remember NB from school? Didn't teach you shorthand?
No.
No.
Google.
They didn't.
Right? What does NB stand for?
Oh, there's Jamie Dimon in the chat. I knew he
It's
was around
important.
somewhere.
It stands for important. Note
No,
well.
no BS.
Important.
Thanks, John
Important
Dawson.
To
in shorthand?
emphasize information, used to put NB beside it. Means it's important. So NB, this ticker, that's a great ticker symbol. It's important. Emphasize it. Note well. Nota bene. It comes from the Latin phrase nota bene, meaning note well. So you put that by something. When you're studying for a test, I can remember doing this, and it was like something the teacher said, I'd put NB beside it for important. Correct. It's not Canadian. This Italian, I just told. They're picking on me as Canadians here right now. I just said it's from the Italian. What did I just say? Google it again. NB. We're teaching you guys grammar here too. We teach you everything. We teach you how to trade stocks. We teach you grammar. We teach you everything on this show.
How about
it's from the Latin phrase nota bene, meaning
yes.
note well. Yeah, I didn't make that up. It's for real. I can't believe nobody knew that. Am I that old? I used to always put
I
NB
didn't learn.
by
There was no shorthand back then.
Might be a Canadian thing.
Yeah,
It's not. We just said it's from Latin.
Okay.
Canadian.
All right. I bet you only Jay Rice is going to get this question right. What was NB? What was that back in the 90s? What was that the symbol for?
A ticker?
Yep.
I should get that. Was it before I started trading? I started 19.
It might. Yeah. Yep.
It might have dated me even. What
Yeah.
stock was NB before?
Yep.
New Balance?
No way. It's New Balance.
No, New
No,
Balance.
New Balance is too new. What the
Come on, Alex Anderson.
like National Bank in Canada, I thought.
Nations Bank. It was
Nation.
Nations Bank. I used to trade
right.
that puppy at Oldie.
How
I
was it?
loved it. And then what they did is they bought the Bank of California, and they became Bank of America.
Is that where it's
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
No
NB
way.
becomes BAC. I'll have to put an NB beside that to note well.
Yep.
Okay. What
Yep.
a bad tangent here. You guys all picked on me. I like it when you pick on Joel. I like it when you pick on me. So go back to
I'm
picking
getting
on
too old for that, man. I'm getting too old to get picked on. You know?
Tesla. It's
Tesla's
down
down?
again. The NHTSA is probing Tesla vehicles for violating traffic laws. So they're talking about the robotaxi, and this was kind of out there already that there's been like this one guy on Twitter that just continues to go and is like got a whole campaign that all the Tesla full self drives are going to kill us all. Anyways, NHTSA looking to see if they're violating any traffic laws. Not good for Tesla this morning. That is why it's down $6.50. What do you think of the technicals on Tesla? It's tired right now. We'll say it's tired. Still long Tesla, but we'll say it's tired. What do you say? What say you, Mr. Elconin?
I would say that I'm going to throw out this 416.58 low for some reason on October 3rd. And I've been trying to come up with that. I mean, this thing has been so wonky, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say that the Tesla bulls are in absolute full control until we take out 420. It just, you
And
did
that's
have
not
that
the
6.
number
Yeah,
too.
right there. Right there. I mean,
Yeah.
look how long we've held that.
Yeah.
And we're $12 away. So
Yeah.
that just seems like the level. It's holding a bit. It had that big move up from 350 to over 400. It's holding. I mean, it's tight. So you lose 420. I think I'm not going to worry about 416.58. So that's it. After that, woo! But you got some moving on the downside. But that's it. Down
No,
7
nice
bucks.
at 500 Tesla by the end of the year. That's going to be a tough target here right now because it's starting to look tired. So we need some work. We can still got almost 3 months. So we got some time here. But it's tired. It's going to put in some work. And, just maybe we do revisit under 400 here yet. So another buy the dip opportunity. We know how we like buy the dip opportunities. Those are good. All right. That's your technicals on Tesla.
Okay.
Then we've got a couple smaller deals here. Dash is teaming up with Serve, S-E-R-V. And if you're looking at Serve Robotics, it is up 12% here today. I don't know, Brentster, if you got the details on this, I can go digging here too. I got it, actually. Doordash, this is now 6:57 this morning. Delivery robot firm Serve Robotics partners with Doordash to expand reach. So Doordash is looking, obviously, for autonomous delivery. I mean, we can see, where we're heading here. Robotics are going to be delivering your food. You have your Tesla full self-drive car driving over, and you got your Serve Robotics. Well, you probably won't need Tesla will have their own humanoids, but Serve Robotics announced a multi-year partnership to deploy autonomous delivery robots across the United States. LA residents ordering through DoorDash app from participants merchants may receive deliveries via Serve Robots. The partnership aims to expand the volume of orders available to Serve for autonomous delivery. So I never looked at the Serve Robotics. Should we go do that actually and go take a look, Brentster, can you go look at the background and show us the Serve Robotics? I want to kind of see what they are. We'll bring them up here on the main screen here. Joel's going to do us a quick technical on Serve. You can do a quick technical on DoorDash, and Brentster's going to dig for a little video of the Serve Robots. I want to see what they look like.
You just got a spike in this up $1.75, and you just spiked to 16.38. That's just kind of no man's land. Former high of the move, 15.65. So I'll just play it that way. I mean, we were above it, but you take that out. Let's make a move for the pre-market high. You got a nice pop off this. I guess if it's a robot, I guess you don't have to worry about them like eating any of your French fries, right? Because
that's a good point, Joel.
Oh, I don't know, man. You never know.
Don't know?
These humanoids, maybe they're gonna have mouths and they're gonna start eating the food too. Bring this thing up. I gotta see what this
all right,
is
this is pretty cool, Dennis. You're gonna
I gotta see
this.
All
right, here we
I never
go.
actually really dug into looking at them.
Look at this.
Why?
Look at this little guy. Look at
this
little thing going across the crosswalk.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So look,
it's
so
like cute.
Like it's a little cooler, and you open the lid and you pull your food out. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look, it's got eyes. Kind of looks like a human, smiling.
Just driving itself. La 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 la. Bang! Hit by a car. Like burritos.
Okay.
2-pound burritos.
I'm not a believer.
I want to eat a 2-pound burrito. Who's eating a 2-pound burrito? That's their ad. 2 pounds. That's a lot of burritos. Joel, could you eat 2 pounds of burritos?
No.
That's a lot of burritos. Remember Adam Richmond on that? What was that food show he had when he was trying to eat?
Oh, Man versus Food. Man
versus Food. And Adam Richmond, and he was really good. He had to stop because he was getting heavy and he was getting health conditions from the thing. But he always do those eating challenges. I always knew. I figured it out at the end. He could eat 4 pounds of food, and he would never. If it was 5 pounds, he would never eat it. It was always 4 he could eat. He couldn't eat 5. It was like his belly could only hold 4 pounds. Now, Joey Jaws is a freak of nature. He'd pound through 20 pounds of probably of burritos here. But
hey, Brent, I have the wrong outline here.
You do?
Yeah. We're talking shorthand 2-pound burritos. Could you?
Where on the outline is that?
We got Adam Richmond on the show. I'm going to watch him eat something.
I wonder what he's doing. If
we can't get Joey Jaws, maybe we can get Adam Richmond. I've tried to get Joey Jaws. Joey's awesome. I wish we could get Joey. I'm a huge fan of Joey Jaws. Okay,
I'm writing
down. Technical me, Joel, again. Because do I want to buy these cute little robots that are delivering 2-pound burritos, or is this just a story for 2025?
I think that based on what Brent just showed me, it makes no sense to me. If I had to,
It makes no sense. What do you mean it makes no sense? It makes perfect sense.
okay, what if I order
burritos
something from Coney Island on Northwestern Highway or something?
I was just gonna say
Orchard
that,
Lake?
Joel. You don't.
It's gonna
Joel, you
look
don't.
both ways before it crosses the street.
Joel lives in the suburbs. Joel, you don't live in the city. Like if you lived in San Francisco and you could just go walk downtown.
Oh, I can see that in San Francisco. Oh yeah, going up those hills and down those hills. Oh, I mean,
Bad
yeah.
example. Maybe
Yeah.
bad
No,
example.
David, we'll get the robots that can climb hills.
What if you
do
order
that.
a drink? What if you
They're
order? That's the most ridiculous
They're
thing.
not gonna spill the drink.
Get
They'll
that.
keep it level.
Don't. You know what? I am never
They got
putting
lids, Joel,
serve
now.
robotics
Lids.
on my screen again. Have you?
He's
I've
not with
never even
Serve
used
Robotics.
DoorDash.
Joel's officially not buying Serve
Have
Robotics.
you used DoorDash? I've never used DoorDash. Have you ever used DoorDash?
I never.
I use Grubhub. I like Grubhub.
My buddy uses DoorDash all the time. Like he's a trading buddy, and he's just there, and he's like, "Man, I really want a chocolate bar right now." And he like DoorDash is like a Kit Kat.
No way.
He's like, yeah, he is. He's like, it's $9 for the Kit Kat.
No, who does that?
I can't tell you his name. You're gonna be embarrassed that he did that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, he's
Like-
like, I really want a Kit Kat right now. He's like, you don't want to know what I just did. I just DoorDashed a Kit Kat. He DoorDashes things all the time. He's sitting at his trade desk, can't leave the trade desk, and he's DoorDashing everything. I'm
Oh,
like, you know what?
Oh man.
So I'm like, how much is a Kit Kat? He's like $9.
You know what? Whenever I think about like this DoorDash and stuff, and you go to, I mean, what kind of theft is there? You know, they put all that thing out there, you know, all the food, and like someone comes in. I mean, I could just walk in like the Olga's or something and like, yeah, I'm DoorDash, boom, grab something, bolt out of there. But obviously, wow, Todd L. At Indiana, 650 deliveries under my belt for
That's
DoorDash.
some DoorDash deliveries. Would you, Todd, get your burritos delivered by a Serve Robotics robot? That's the question here. We're trying to figure out if all this is like digging. It's basically understanding our consumers, and we're trying to figure out if we want to buy Serve Robotics or not. That's bottom line. It's kind of a cool story. I'm probably taking a pass, but it's kind of a cool story. Okay, next story on the list. We have a merger. NVO buying AKRO, Acaro Therapeutics. What's the number here? This cash deal. Let's go take a look. AKRO. I should have been more ready here too. We were having a fun conversation. 5.2 billion. 55?
54.
Yep.
54 and $6 worth of CVR.
Yes.
What is CVR? Those are rights. This is the new thing. They're doing all these like pharmaceutical deals and drug deals, as they usually have contingent value rights attached to them. So basically, they give you, and then if you hit certain milestones with your drugs, they get you more money. So they get an extra $6 if they hit the milestone. They get 54 cash, and then they're giving 60 cents to that right. And forgetting about the time value of money here, though. So I mean, the time value of money in this market's worth a hell of a lot because other stocks are going up like Serve Robotics 15% a day. So I don't know if I want to be paying that much for those contingent rights, but somebody's willing to do it. And
someone was willing to pay $59, $59.02 into pre-market.
Oh yeah, that's the bots. They
Yep.
see. Oh, 54 plus 6, that's a 60. I'm getting a deal at 59. That's AI for you, folks. That's where we're at. We got ways to go.
NVO taking a little hit. I mean, this thing it took a big hit a while ago. It's been crawling
just
back.
Punished. Novo has just not had a good year. No.
Good year. This thing peaked in 2024, but we were just talking, Biotech's, IBB looking good, XBI looking good. Still,
NVO is probably a long-term buy down here.
You think so?
Yeah. Novo Nordisk. They got the weight loss drug. The stock has been, obviously giving back a lot of the gains. I mean, if you can just close your eyes and say, man, the chart looks like crap. But if you're sticking these, value Warren Buffett approach. And again, we're back to like 1999. If you were buying drug stocks in 1999 and, value names, you're getting left in the dust because it was all about anybody that had a website. So we know 2000 eventually happened though. And then eventually all these value names a la Berkshire Hathaway had outperformed for the next 15 years. We probably do that again. We'll probably get to a point where all these growthy names are going to perform for a decade and the value names are going to pick it up. But, I don't know if we're there yet. I think with the interest rates going down, I think that could be farther into 2026. But I do think if you're just closing your eyes and picking up drug stocks right now, putting them in your long-term portfolio, I think you're going to be happy 10 years from now. 10 days from now, I'd probably lose money. That's where we're at.
Did you see old Lily on the comeback trail?
Yeah, Lily's come back a long ways here. And again, it's the story's picking up steam. People, like analysts are getting behind it again. The chart's starting to look more constructive. And then we know what it's like. When the chart starts looking better, then, the analysts start picking up and upgrading, and then it continues. So there's lots of reasons to think, that the Lily could continue here. I don't like Lily because of valuation, though. That's just where I'm at. Long term, I'm still a value guy, and obviously that's the Warren Buffett approaches to my long-term investing. It does crappier when you're in a full-on rampant growth mode and you've got all these stocks going up, these penny stocks going up 100% or 200% a day. But longer term, I think it's the way to do it because these bubbles do burst. And when you're owning a bunch of drug stocks, you don't get hurt nearly as bad. GSRT. Let's talk this one. So it is converting. This was one that was brought to us by Money Mitch. I know Jay Rice has been talking about it in the chat. I'm long GSRT in my long-term portfolio. Simple reason is that this is a nuclear company that the deal has been approved, and it is going to be converting in the next couple of days in the press release. This was said as of Tuesday night. Next couple of days, going to NKLR. The symbol is going to be nuclear, NKLR. We don't have the actual date confirmed from the company yet. In the PR from Tuesday night, it said in the next couple of days. So next couple of days. Thursday, Friday, Monday. I don't know what a couple of days means, but it's not converted as of this moment in time. But GSRT is going nuclear, NKLR. I do think it's like, they compare it more to NNE, not so much to Oklo. A little bit different. I do think there's a potential for this to go nuclear when it converts ticker symbol. So I like it. I'm staying long. I think that you're going to get a pop when this thing actually goes to NKLR. And it's already been running into it, actually.
For whatever reason, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but for whatever reason, right now, there has been a lot of just like misinformation on the GSRT going into NKR. The last couple of days, people have been like, it's happening tomorrow. It's happening today.
Yeah.
I saw a person in the chat.
I tweeted out that it could go as early as tomorrow.
And so I want to
because they said a couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's where we're getting.
They said in coming days. They said is expected to close in coming days.
In coming days, they didn't say a couple days.
So, okay. but I have a good SPAC source that I talked to yesterday, and that person said traditionally, historically, after the timing between the closing of the deal and the conversion to the new ticker is generally a couple days. That was the comment. So I want to be clear here. As far as I know, we will need to hear from GSRT first before we know when the conversion is going to happen. If we haven't heard anything, which is the case right now, the last thing that we heard was the news of the approval of the deal. Until we hear from GSRT again, I would imagine via a press release or an SEC filing, then we do not know when this is going to convert. And we are actually relying on coming days. Yes.
Okay. It's up another 8% here. It is running. People are getting excited before it converts, and we don't know. Maybe this is a buy on rumor, sell on news, but people are ramping this thing up. It just went from, it went as low as $9. We talked about this when it had the rug pull. And then, it got back up there. And then I actually rebought the share. So if I would have been able to hold through the rug pull, it would have been good. But, I actually ended up raising my cost basis because it was like just crazy rug pull on the cash when they pulled the cash conversion option there. So basically on a SPAC, you have a cash floor where you can get your shares turned into cash if you want. After you got through the vote, after 2 days before the vote, that floor leaves. That's why this thing sold off. And then you had the ridiculous pop here. So that's, the bottom line with GSRT. Now, the top line, we don't know. People are asking, well, where are you selling? Where are you getting out of this thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I want to wait until I see this thing go NKLR because I think there's a lot of excitement behind it. So, and, when you do comparisons and you look at, valuations here, you're talking about a company in the millions of dollars. You got all these other nuclear companies going up in the billions here now with, hardly any sales or no sales at all. I mean, there's, the upside here is pretty good, I think.
Yep. Moves around pretty good for a $9, $10, $15 instrument. But we'll see. I know you've been following this story very closely. Yesterday's high, we're through that at 1491. But wow, 3.4 million shares traded, getting active here. Brent will be on with that. We'll break that as soon as we can, as soon as the news
Absolutely.
comes out. Yep.
Yeah, we'll find
Absolutely.
out. Okay, Costco sales, COST monthly sales, and stock is ripping up pretty good on it. It was up higher last night here, but Costco did report sales last night. They're the only retailer that still reports monthly sales. We used to get this
Yes.
like all the time from all the retailers. Costco's the only one that stayed doing it here. So 26.58 billion for the month of September. I mean, holy crap, did they sell? I was actually at a Costco yesterday, the one in Barrie, and it is just like it's like Wednesday lunchtime. Do people not work? It is so busy. You can't find a parking spot. Like they need a second store in Barrie because it is so busy. It is a mob scene. You can't even like get near the cashiers to check out. It's like 20 minutes to check out. So busy. So busy. I mean, they definitely need more stores. Like that's how, and then you go in there and you know why. Because like I buy this protein powder at like Walmart and it's like, I don't know, like $30 for like a 600 gram container. They get $55, get 2 kilograms of it a cost. So I'm like, well, holy crap, this is 3 times more, and it's only like 60% more in price. And then Laura, my wife's looking, she's like, this is cheaper and this is cheaper. We hadn't been Costco for a while. But I'm like, it's like a blast back 10 years ago. It's like they didn't have inflation at Costco. And then you leave with a $1.50 hot dog, and you're like, this place is awesome. You know why Costco trades 40 times earnings now? They figured out how to fight inflation. They got stuff cheap in there, man, compared to other stores anyways.
How about when they were selling gold bars a while ago?
They still do. They can't
Yeah?
keep it in. Apparently, they can't keep the gold in. Like people are just loading up gold and they can't keep it in. Although last night gold had a little bit of a sell-off, so maybe they're going to be able to keep it in. Costco, technical me, Joel.
Oh, man, I don't know. It's a pop. I mean, this chart does not look good at all. It
Pops
does
to be
not
sold.
look good. I mean, we got a pop much higher in this Costco. We were at got to 939, 35. So you've already leaked $9-10 off that. That's bad news. Ways away from the 50-day moving average. I think what's more important on this one is the support. You've had your last 4 lows have been at this 904, 905 area. So if you want to swing it, I think that's where your risk is down to. Interestingly, that move up towards 940 did fill a gap that you had at 935.62. So I think I would look at that first since we're up so much off that pre-market high for Costco.
Delta.
Folks,
We're going to earnings. Oh, what were we going to say, Brett?
I was just going to give a little heads up here. We do have Fed Chair Jay Powell currently speaking. We don't have econ data. We know that because the U.S. government shut down, but we do have Fed members that are speaking. They are not a part of the government. Powell just started speaking about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Wanted to give a heads up, though, that he already said he will not be commenting on economic outlook or monetary policy.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
So
yep.
Market quiet ahead of that. We got a couple earnings reports. Jason Shubnell's in the background here right now. We're going to get to him in a second, talk a little bit of crypto. But I want to give you those Delta earnings. $1.71 versus $1.52, which is a beat. 16.6 billion versus 15.04 billion. Nice beat on the top. Nice beat on the bottom. They are they're narrowing. Sorry, they're not raising. They're actually narrowing guidance. They were looking at 5.76. Now they're looking at 5.25 to 6.25. They're looking upwards. I don't know. This is confusing actually. Up to $6 only. So they're narrowing it a little bit here. Anyways, the earnings were good. They're narrowing the guidance in a little bit here. Delta flying this morning. Joel, technicals.
Man, they're cutting down on serving sodas. I was on a flight and stuff. They're making it a little, they're cutting expenses. It got a nice
get
pop.
a soda. They want to charge you for a soda now. Is that
no? You couldn't even get one. When I flew to New Jersey, they just like coffee or water. I mean, it was a short flight.
Pop? You can't get a pop?
No.
Wow.
Pre-market high 61.49. You're trading up right up against that level. Man, there were a lot of people out here in the higher 61 handle. So I'll give that, 4-star, even if you keep going here. 61.75 to 62. Or 61.75. I see 3 highs in that area. That's coinciding with the pre-market high. If that's not good enough for you, look at the 62.50 area. Had a couple highs in early September at that level. So Delta, strong, up 438 here on their earnings report.
840, guest is ready to rock. Jason Shubnell, let's go. Crypto Corner.
This is Old Benzinga Week here, bringing in the news editor at the Block Company, Jason Shubnell. How you doing today, Jason?
Hey guys, I'm doing a lot better today after that Tigers game yesterday.
Woo, Tigers! Look at this. Game 5, take all. We got this. We got this. Shubs, we got this.
Thought they were left for dead, but finally the bats can wake up. So,
and then we got down.
We get another day.
I was scared too. I was like, oh, we're in trouble here. But you know what? We're looking good. We're going to take those Jays too if we get there. So let's get there. We won't count our chickens before we're hatched, though. Let's go beat Seattle. Get out there. Go to Seattle. Take game 5. And then we're going to take on those Jays.
Well, are the Jays your number 2 team?
No.
No,
you can't be a Tigers fan and be a Jays fan. So everybody thinks I'm Canadian. Oh, like even in the chat, people are like, "Oh, the Jays lost last night, then you must be feeling pretty crappy about not obviously the last night, but the night before." I'm like, no, I don't like the Jays. I'm a Tigers fan. I'm South Detroit, Windsor. They were South Detroit. We're Detroit fans here, so yeah, all the way Tigers. Let's go, Tigers. This is our year. This is it.
Motor City Kitties. So, Chubbs, before we get into talking about crypto, tell us about the Block. You're the U.S. news editor at the Block. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Block is one of the most highly read crypto outlets out there. We not only are covering anything from markets to any political updates that affect the crypto sector, but we also have a ton of in-house data that anybody can use. You can go to the website, you see our data tab right there. Anything from spot markets in the crypto sector to ETF inflows, outflows, AUM. We even have price data, price charts on almost any crypto worth anything out there. And so we have a great research and data team that powers that part of us. And then we also have an around the clock news team. I've been with the Block for about a year and a half now. And so there's never been a better time to be leading a news team when it comes to the crypto sector.
Fun. Okay, so let's there's different catalysts, right, for Bitcoin, but I think one thing that really was a big boost was the announcement of all these the ETFs getting approved. And boy, their assets are growing fast. Recent inflows into these ETFs. You've been writing about it, you've been talking about it. I mean, how high could these assets go?
Yeah, I mean, we're finally, I think, seeing a total, it's not matured, obviously, but we're seeing those institutions really start to embrace, crypto via the ETFs. But nowadays, now that we're getting, a more and more friendly presidential administration to the sector, they're getting a little more friendly to the spot markets. But for the ETFs, I just saw earlier today they've taken in over 5 billion just in the past trading days alone.
Wow.
2 billion just in the past 2. And Nate Garassi, who he's the Novo Nordisk Wealth Management president, formerly ETF store president, he said he remembered when people thought the entire category would top out at 5 billion total assets, and they did over 5 billion in flows in just the past 7 trading days. And so that shows you just the demand for them. But also, there's still, entire categories coming into the market. We have the Solana, XRP, Litecoin ETFs that are probably going to be approved. I don't want to say any day now because you never know. I think the shutdown is really kind of slowing things down across the board. But it seems like they're at the finish line and they're just waiting for that final send off to then bring those different cryptocurrencies into the fold to then be give exposure to the retail and institutional world.
What do you think, like, is the, from an institutional customer perspective, like, obviously, people have jumped on Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum. What do you think is the appetite for these altcoins? Like, is it growing? Is it like institutional money managers are like, no, I'm staying away from that stuff, I'm just sticking with the Bitcoin? Or is it like, no, they're all in on all these other altcoins now here too? Because we know there's like thousands or not even hundreds of thousands of these little altcoins everywhere here now. Like, I can't decipher through. I own some Bitcoin in my retirement account and that's it, because I'm not, a big, crypto guy. But I mean, what's the institutional money manager? Are they getting into all this other littler stuff, like getting even past Solana, but getting into these smaller altcoins?
The smaller ones, I don't think we're ready for that yet. I don't think the institutions are ready to touch that stuff yet. But that being said, I think they've been kind of tiptoeing into this already as it is with Bitcoin and Ethereum over the past several years. And I think if they do see the demand from their clients and from retail, they'll definitely dip their toes even further. But I think there's going to be a big demand for Solana, especially once that hits. Do
these have utility? Like, what does Solana do that Bitcoin can't? So here's a question, and obviously, this is I don't know what Bitcoin can do really either, but because it just is a store of value. But what do these things all do? Like, how are they all different? Like, I don't understand, like, Solana from Ethereum from Bitcoin. Can you just explain, like, is there different purposes for these things besides just having a different name?
So I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but essentially comes down to the underlying technology of those blockchains. And just for a quick comparison's sake, like Solana is good for speed and scale, whereas Bitcoin, it's always been known as being a little bit slower, because it's meant to do that because it's meant to be a little bit more of a deliberate store of value, on the underlying technology. Whereas Ethereum, Solana, they tried to outpace that by becoming by processing transactions, lowering fees, that kind of thing. That's where they try to differentiate themselves. And I think there's definitely room for Solana and Ethereum to I personally don't think they'll ever catch up to Bitcoin in terms of mass adoption and mass value, but they are definitely the cream of the crop in terms of the altcoins, which, like you said, is there's thousands of them nowadays. It's almost crazy to think that Dogecoin is still, I think it's got 40 billion market cap right now. I think it's definitely within the top. It's definitely within the top 10 of cryptos. And and Dogecoin itself right now holds no utility. It basically it was started as a joke. It was started as the original meme, and it basically is still that. But people put real money into it. There are some people put real money into it, and there's even some, there are some companies out there, with the rise of these DATs, these digital asset treasuries nowadays. There's a couple of Dogecoin treasuries out there who are essentially betting on that future utility. They're admitting that there is no utility right now, but we think with what Elon Musk is doing with X and the future of X becoming kind of the everything app with being able to do transactions within there, they think Dogecoins is going to become a little bit more of a utility within stuff like that, and so they're betting on that upside to start buying all this Doge, just as one example. But like everything, the risk is pretty high if you're going to be jumping into all those altcoins after the top 10, 20 or so.
Is there ever a case where we're actually going to, and I know the original purpose of Bitcoin was going to be to replace like the US dollar. Like that's, I think, like it was like the US dollar is growing. Obviously we know the debt's growing, trillions and trillions. It seems like every year we just keep going up here, and there's only 21 million of these things out there. So, they can't inflate Bitcoin as much. Is there a chance, like ever, that we're going to actually transact in this though, where we're going to come in with not even necessarily Bitcoin, but Ethereum or Solana or anything like that, another coin, like where people are going to come in and pay with this stuff like the average person? Or is that just going to take a long time to get to?
I think I'm not gonna give a timetable, but I think we are definitely close with Bitcoin and Ether becoming that mainstream. The others, I think it's going to take a while. It might be one of those, suddenly then all at once, or well, I forget that's kind of a repetitive phrase, but I do think we're going to see Bitcoin. We already are in some cases seeing that used in everyday transactions, depending on what the merchant is or whatever the case may be. And I think we will see that become, just it's like with anything, this is taking technology is taking over everything, and it has been for decades now. And it's only natural that that's going to become a little bit more mainstream. And whether it's in 2 years or whether it's in 10 years, I definitely think we're going to be seeing that. You tap to pay with your phone nowadays just to get, with your credit card or with your bank account. You're going to see that happen just as easily with Bitcoin or with other crypto in the not too distant future, in my opinion.
We're getting asked about a couple currencies here. I guess Zcash has been on the move lately, and someone else also asked about Chronos. So those cryptos you're familiar with at all?
I can't speak too much to Zcash, and my only bit about Chronos that I would say it's worth keeping an eye on is because I believe that is the crypto that the Trump media and technology company, is that the official name of it? The one that runs his social sites.
Trump Media Technology Group. I
believe they are they've established a DApp using Chronos, using the Chronos currency. And I'm sure they have plans to buy more. And so that's definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm not saying it's a good long-term play or anything like that. But considering when it's like anything else. If you have the president involved, you definitely got to keep your eyes on it. Whether it's him or his sons or his media companies, talking about it, you never know where that can take it.
What about the Trump coin and the Melania coin? Like, what about those?
Well, they've fallen hard, and to be honest with you, those aren't anything that ever really get talked about in at least in my circles. I'm not saying that there isn't a demand for them, but it's just, I think they were smartly, for their case, they tried to jump on the most high profile event you possibly could with the inauguration by launching them then. But it's just been downhill ever since. And there's been obviously some blips up here and there. But I don't know. I don't know what you do with that besides just trying to make a quick buck trading it. I don't see what the future value is going to be in those. And, I think they're trying to still like brand and create NFTs, with those coins. But I don't know exactly, and I don't know where
that's going. That's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, when he's out of office, who knows, or if he ever gets out of office. Publicly traded digital asset treasuries. We all know about the treasury market out there. Have we hit a peak in that? Is it just beginning? Let's talk about that asset class.
I feel like I might go out on a limb and say we have hit a peak, only because we're definitely seeing a slowdown in terms of how much, just using the number one strategy, they've really slowed how much Bitcoin they're buying. Their MNAV, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The MNAV, it's kind of like how you it's the multiple of net asset value. It's how you basically value, these public companies' holdings versus their their underlying versus their total market value. And theirs has been pretty steady, relatively speaking, for about a year, but it is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer to falling under one. I don't know where it's at right now.
Well, that's what I don't understand. Just to expand on that point, I don't understand why you go and buy a strategy when you can buy Bitcoin 40% cheaper just by buying the Bitcoin itself, because all they are is a Bitcoin holding company now. I mean, that's really what it has become. And so many of these other treasury holding companies are doing the same thing. I mean, just coming in and basically, buying crypto. Sometimes it's not always Bitcoin, but in the case of MicroStrategy, it is. I mean, I don't understand why pay a premium for those Bitcoin holdings to have them through MicroStrategy.
I'm with you on that, and I think there's a big part of this that these companies are almost trying to speak to the retail trader and not necessarily the crypto trader. And so I think there's still a barrier there of you have your crypto degen traders, you have your retail stock traders, you have your institutions, and I think there's still a couple different worlds that these companies are trying to speak to. And so by quote unquote pivoting to becoming a DAT, you're trying to hop on the excitement and demand behind these various cryptos, but you're almost trying to parlay that into your retail buyers. You know what I mean? Whether that's going to work out long term, I don't know about that. Especially earlier this year, this felt like the old pivoting to blockchain from, what was that at this point, 6 years ago, 7 years ago? I'm not sure exactly when, but that as I'm sure you guys have talked about, the old Long Island iced tea, Long Island.
Oh yeah, blockchain. That's changing all their names to blockchain.
That's definitely how this felt for a while this year and this summer, with just so many different small caps and penny stocks all of a sudden saying they're going to try to deploy $100 million to start buying Bitcoin and Ether. I wouldn't trust those, especially those really small ones. Those are ones you got to be extremely careful for. And nowadays you're not even seeing as much of a price spike like you used to. I feel early on, when this trend started, a little over a year ago, earlier this year, you were seeing big spikes up, and you see that now a little bit nowadays, but oftentimes there might be a brief spike in the pre-market or at the market open, and then by the time the trading day is over, the stock's down 10%. And so I think that euphoria has also kind of waned a little bit. And
all right,
hopefully we kind of mature out here with the amount of these struggling pharma companies or struggling tech companies all of a sudden becoming a treasury for Solana.
Yeah, buyer beware. Okay, Jason Shubnell, he's the editor over at The Block, joining us here for this segment of Crypto Corner. We look forward to having you back on, and maybe some other people at your company. Like to hear it. Good information. Thank you, Jason, and talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Nice to see you again.
Thanks, Shubs. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers is right, Triple D.
We're trying.
A word from our sponsor, our wonderful sponsor here, Hive Digital Technologies, a global leader in green-powered data centers for Bitcoin mining, high-performance computing, and AI operating. With nearly 0.5 gigawatt of renewable energy, Hive is on track to capture 3% of the world's Bitcoin production by the end of this year. Scan the QR code in the bottom right corner of your screen if you want to learn more about Hive. There's also a link in the description of this YouTube video. Thanks again, Hive.
Couple ratings.
Let's do some ratings.
Go.
No. Go. Let's do some ratings.
Yeah. So a couple ones just of note here this morning I had written down, and trying to find them now. DKNG. Let's talk this one because this is a contrarian rating because the stock has been in the absolute gutter here. Robinhood, people worried about them eating the lunch. I'm worried about them people eating their lunch. We've been talking about the $30 support level, and it's a big, major support. It hasn't got down there yet. Berenberg's not trying to let it go down there because they are upgrading the stock here this morning to buy. They are just jumping into the note here, putting a $45 price target on it. No, sorry, they're putting a $43 price target on there. Unless comments were they're up at 45 before. Year to date, this is from the note. DraftKings has performed well. Really? While numbers have been adjusted downward due to sports results, the company has continued to deliver. I'll talk the company fundamentals. The company has continued to deliver solid levels of growth, and its underlying business delivered improvements, particularly in terms of margin expansion. DraftKings has sold off materially following the threat of disruption from prediction markets, and given the group's lacks international exposure, has been most affected. While we acknowledge that there are risks from prediction markets, we have seen no impacts on numbers so far. Also, there is still opacity as to how much crossover there is with legal betting markets and customer databases, and the legality of the product is far from certain. As a result, we think the sell-off is overdone. So there you go. So they're defending it. Contrarian call. I think you wait. I think you're going to get a shot at 30. So I don't know if you need to jump in here. I think you're going to get a shot at 30. I also think that Robinhood's eating their lunch or going to eat their lunch here eventually. And I don't want to go against Robinhood on anything because I'm a big believer in Vlad.
Get a nice pop, gapping up. No daily high until you get to 35.02 if you're looking for a target. And then that major resistance comes in at 36.40. On the downside here, if you feel like you missed a little move here, you're taking, taking a shot off the open, trying to short it. The top of yesterday's range is $34. So if you want to look for a little pullback, new low of the move yesterday, perhaps a double bottom at the 32.60 area. If you don't mind risking a couple bucks here, but boy, this thing has been pounded, pulling back. And then I was looking at Penn yesterday, and I looked at it like 3 days ago. I'm like, Penn's kind of holding in there, and then kaplooey, that got hit as well. So competition coming. Buyer beware.
Oklo, Canaccord Genuity gets the reward of Johnny Come Lately analyst here this morning. They are starting Oklo with a buy. Thank you for chasing the stock. It was $60 a month ago, but we like it at 140 because we think it's going to 175. They're of the opinion, buy high, sell higher. They didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying for them. They initiate Oklo with a buy, price target 175. Our price target is based on our DCF with our model stretching out to 2050.
Oh,
they're like, if we look out to 2050, this company may actually start making some money. So look 25 years into the future, and it looks pretty bright. I just stopped there. I'm not even reading anything more. So they're talking about all the way out to 2050. That's enough for me. Johnny Come Lately chasing. This is your analyst chasing price here. Classic here this morning. Oklo is trading up. Can't argue with the influence here because they are moving them up 4.6 or $4.61 here this morning. Lots of tops in the 141, 142, 144. Yeah. Analysts trying to justify the valuation by looking out to 2050. It's a stretch.
I couldn't agree more. Trading dope right now. We're trading at the highs of the pre-market session. That comes in at 139.50. Your next daily high to contend with is 142.20. 142.20. That was your high on Tuesday, off the all-time high. A good level to keep an eye on for the remainder of the day, perhaps the remainder of the week, is that all-time closing high that was made on Monday at 138.56. So if you felt you missed the mark, the all-time high closing mark, there it is for you, 138.56.
Ran a little bit overtime here for you, but 9:03. The party continues, though. If you did not get enough information, if you did not get your stock talked about, if you want to know what our next trades are looking at here, because we're looking at cool trades over there, come join us at stocktradernetwork.com. Free trial. Check it out. Come on in. Join our crowd. We got some good trades going on in there. Some people making some money.
All right. That's it for today, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.